So there it is. Has it run in 32 years, I believe? 33. So it's time to make a trip to Houston on that trailer, and we're gonna see what the situation is. Got some muscle over here, some muscle over there. All right, we got come along and two straps in the front. We got a chain and two straps over the axle in the back, and then another chain here. So a total of 7 chains and straps. I think we're good. So are you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous at all.
No? You ready for this to head south?
Yeah.
What about you? Are you nervous?
No.
I think we did a good job.
Yeah.
Given what we had. We'll see where it goes from here. All right, we made it to Houston. And now just gonna unload it. Well, we got it on the lift. There it is. Yeah, just to recap, I'm in Houston. My brother owns this 67 Camaro and lives in Dallas. And we decided after 30 something years of sitting, it was time to bring it down to Houston, put it on my lift, and start to look into it at some point, see what's going on, and maybe get lucky. We'll see. Hopefully, it'd be nice if we were able to get it, running at least without major expense or rebuilds, but we just don't know at this point. There's not much detail on what was going on when it stopped running, and this was back in the early 90s. So this car hasn't run for 34 years, something like that. This is a car that our father bought brand new when he turned 40, and this was the first year they made the Camaro. So it was one of our two family cars for many years when I was a child. So it was given to my brother when he turned 16, and he drove it for quite a while and got married, and it was his only car for a while. The engine did get rebuilt in the late 70s when he got married, so we don't really know exactly whether it's the pistons are oversized or how extensive the rebuild was. So we just have to kind of tear into it, take a look. It is basically a solid car that has been garaged a large majority of that 34 years that it's been sitting. It's been in a garage, so that's good. There's a little surface rust here and there, but hopefully no rust through holes in the floor or anything like that. We'll see. It hasn't been looked at closely yet. This is the first time anyone's given it any attention in quite a while. So I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough today, look around, see what I see, point out some things that I see from the bottom. But so far, all that's been done to it, and this was done in Dallas a couple days ago, my brother put Marvel Magical Mystery Oil or whatever it's called in 6 of the 8 cylinders, and so that's been sitting for a couple days. The other 2 spark plugs were too hard to get to because of the headers, and it was kind of a hot day as well. So we'll have to see if we can get to those and maybe go ahead and take the headers off first. We'll see. Okay, so underneath, obviously lots of surface rust. This car does have drum brakes all the way around, so that's kind of a known issue, but we'll see what we can do with those. Of course, a lot of the bushings are deteriorated as expected. We've got some fluid leaking somewhere up there. It's kind of dry on the cross members up here, and the radiator hose doesn't look terrible. And same thing over here. We got the sway bar lift points are in bad shape, and ball joint, all that. Coming back here, we have the aftermarket headers. Looks like a problem with one of the gaskets there. We've got some cracked brake lines there. Steering linkage here. So what tie rod ends are in bad shape, of course. Here's this power steering. Up here we have motor mounts in bad shape. Spark plugs are back installed right now, so we'll pull those out. And what else? More bushings, and here's a pretty fresh fluid leak. It looks like maybe that happened not too long ago. Not sure. That's got to be the power steering fluid. Got quite a bit of leakage under the transmission. That's probably a main seal there. It's leaking down. Lots of dirt and grime and grease from the rear transmission mount. Yeah. So this is a 2-speed power glide for those of you who know what that is. And back here we've got dual exhaust. Looks actually in pretty decent shape. And we've got the drive shaft here going into the rear diff. Got some leakage here, as expected. Lots of surface rust and seepage on the differential. Leaf springs. Back here is the gas tank, and there's some strange things going on here. That looks like a drip, but it's actually not a drip, it's solid. So it's sort of like tar, and maybe it's just 30-year-old gas doing that, I don't know. But we'll have to pull this tank for sure, and I've already got a lead on a radiator shop that can clean that tank up and reseal it inside. So that shouldn't be a huge deal. As far as the body goes, I don't see any major rust under the trunk. Of course, we'll see more once the tank is removed. I'm trying to avoid the shadow of the light here, but it's not easy. The floor under the driver looks very solid, really. This may turn out to be better than we thought as far as the car body. Passenger, same thing. There's no major rust that I can see. Looking at the footwell. Yeah, body seems to be in really good shape. This is the bottom of the door here. Bottom of the fenders. Wheel wells. Now he's got some really cheap narrow tires on here right now, and that's just because the tires that were on it deteriorated years ago, and he needed to just buy some cheap tires to roll the car around on. So really not in bad shape. So here's the top side of the engine, and we have not done any cleanup yet. So you can see the original R12 AC system here. So lots of mud dauber kind of nests there. We've got aftermarket valve covers. We've got the headers that you can barely see down below there. We've got an Edelbrock intake and a 4-barrel carburetor. What the plan is to take the engine and the car in general back to stock. So we're going to be putting the original 2-barrel carburetor back on it, or a replacement of the 2-barrel, and also a different back to the stock intake manifold. You can see down here these plugs are fairly easy to get to, but the plugs on the other side are a real pain because of the AC system and compressor and that sort of thing. Okay, just starting to take a few things apart, trying to basically make some room to be able to get to the spark plugs on this side. I've taken off the air cleaner, moved the ignition wires, most of them, and labeled them. Starting to work on the AC compressor. Might as well get that out of the way since it won't be used for quite some time, I'm sure. Took the fan off and working on the fan shroud. Looks like it's almost off. And there was one wire connected here. I guess that might be an electric choke on the carburetor, not sure. This looks like a Carter Quadrajet spread bore 4-barrel. And of course we probably won't be using that, but we may pour some fuel through it. Alright, making some good progress now. Got the AC compressor removed. There was actually a slight bit of R12 pressure left in it after 34 years. Not much, but a little bit of bubbling of oil. It's kind of interesting. So, got the fan removed, the fan shroud. We got this pulley off. Got taking the belts off and labeling them. And now we have very good access to the crank bolt to turn the engine over by hand. And also I'm able to get to these front two spark plugs much easier. Now the back ones, those are the problem plugs with the headers. They're very difficult to get to, so I'll have to play around with that. Might have to take the headers off next. We'll see. Well, this is good news. It looks like those two back plugs on the passenger side are accessible from below. Should be able to get a wrench on those and get them out of there. Alright, well this is the moment of truth. I've got all the accessory belts off, got the fan off, got all the spark plugs out. There was Marvel Mystery oil put in the cylinders a few days ago, so 6 out of 8 cylinders have been soaking, and I probably won't be able to catch it on video, but I'm going to try to turn the engine over by hand using the bolt on the front of the crank pulley, and we'll see how it goes. This is a big deal here. If it's not locked up, then that makes the whole job a lot easier, so we'll see. Okay, well that was easy. It is not locked up. Engine turns over by hand. That's great news. I think I'm quitting for the day.